What's up, guys? Welcome back to News Waves. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Overall, had a lot of fun here. Got to play more of Cadence of Hyrule, and I do really like it. It's actually a bit more enjoyable than I thought it would be for me. And then also I went out, grabbed a PlayStation 4, managed to fix it, and got it for about $55. There's a full video on that went up over the weekend. If you're curious about that, check those videos out in the card above. As for today, we have to go over a bit of an issue with Animal Crossing. It's one that some people were assuming we wouldn't have to deal with because of some of the features that the Switch now has with the online service. Doesn't look like the cloud saves are going to be helping, and that's a bit of an issue. I'm going to explain why, because they did at least tell us a bit about why. As always, guys, enjoy these videos. Make sure the like button. It does help out. We're actually going to start today back with E3 from last week. Now, of course, E3 went fairly well. It was a bit of a disappointing E3, as a lot of people pointed out, but there were some cool games there. And the one thing that ends up happening at E3, of course, is that everyone's on the show floor playing games. Well, something odd happened. The power actually cut. And as the power was out, of course, all the TVs, the other systems were all off, and then the power came back on. They said not even a full minute later. It was a very quick outage, and then it came back on. But all the other systems were off except for the Switch units. And a ton of people online pointed out that the Switch units were fine because, of course, they just switched to handheld mode. Then the power came back on, and everyone just resumed playing as normal. Some even pointed out that this would be a good marketing campaign. Hey, the power's out, you got like a candle lit, and you're playing your Switch. That actually wouldn't be a terrible commercial, I guess. We did something like that a while ago with the old the worm light for the Game Boy, but yeah, something to think about, and a lot of people don't even realize that until the power actually goes out at their house and they realize that their Switch is working fine. Also, we talked about the Shenmue 3 situation with the Epic Games Store and the Kickstarter, where all of a sudden it was going to become an Epic Games exclusive. People weren't happy with that. It was a lot of comments on the Kickstarter. It went all over the internet. It went semi-viral there for a bit. And we actually have a bit of a response now, which kind of threw me off a little bit, to be honest. Deep Silver and EaseNet actually responded saying they were going to evaluate the current plans for exclusivity to the Epic Games Store. And what I think that means is that not necessarily that they'll break that exclusivity deal or anything. I think what's going to happen is they're going to figure out a way to compensate the backers who actually help bring this game up and make it possible. I think they'll probably look to most likely give Steam codes out. Or, hey, maybe you actually want an Epic Games Store one and you can get that code too. Most likely they're going to probably send something out to do that, but they are at least evaluating it. Hopefully that does mean that they're going to change things up and just make the backers happy. Hopefully this isn't just PR speak and nothing happens, but we'll see. Also, we saw Destiny 2 go to Stadia. So, of course, Destiny 2 is going to be playable through Stadia with streaming and everything. In fact, it comes with that Founders Edition that you could pick up for, $130. And something that was odd is that there is cross progression, I guess, or cross save, but cross play is actually not a thing. I actually had talked about it before. It's just cross progression, cross save. And the odd thing is, technically Stadia runs on PCs, so a lot of people figured, oh, PC Stadia, there should be crossplay there. Well, no, in an FAQ that was actually released, Bungie says that there is no crossplay. It's just going to be Stadia in its own kind of environment in its world. And it actually got me thinking, can Stadia actually do crossplay with PC when there is that latency? Is that actually fair for Stadia players to play against PC players who are local? Of course, they're still connected to a server, but they don't have input lag that you would have through Stadia, whether it's moving your mouse or pressing a button on the keyboard. I almost feel like at this time, it's not really that fair anyway. So if I was a Stadia player, I don't know why I would want to have that crossplay. It just wouldn't be enjoyable when the other people on screen who are playing locally can move and shoot you very quickly as opposed to you feeling that latency. But I guess maybe some people really do want it. Hard to say. I don't think it would be that fun if you're playing against PC players. Oh, and great news for all of you Fallout 76 backers for the big collector's edition that they did where you got the helmet and everything and that really cool nylon bag. I mean, that's supposed to be a canvas bag. Yeah, they sent that out now. Yes, people finally got it. That game came out, more than half a year ago, but you got it. There were several pictures that went up, and it actually does look It looks decent. It's a canvas bag. Originally, they tried to get away with a nylon one, but yes, there you go. It looks a lot better than the one they tried to slip under the rug there and give people. So it just took forever. I don't know why this all had to happen or why canvas all of a sudden was impossible to find, but it seems like they found some canvas in the back room and they're able to send them out. And guys, some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. We're actually going to start with Animal Crossing New Horizons right away because this is an interesting situation. It's not going to be compatible with cloud saves, and this is odd because it seems more and more like it's first-party games that aren't going to be using cloud saves, whereas a lot of third-party games are. In fact, we're to the point now where we kind of have to ask these questions with some of these games. We can't assume that first-party games will work with cloud saves. Now, this was actually done in an interview with Game Cult out of France, where they asked them about cloud saves, and it was just straight up said, no, there's not going to be any cloud saves. Originally, it was supposed to be because Mr. Rossetti has been retired at this point. They got rid of him. If you don't know Mr. Rossetti, he would show up if you shut your system off without saving just abruptly because you didn't like what happened or you wanted to erase what's happened recently in your playtime before you saved. He would show up, yell at you, get super mad. He would type in all caps and all of that, and he was a pretty funny character. I mostly played Animal Crossing on the GameCube, and trust me, yeah, I saw him a few times because the power. I turned the power off. Okay, yeah, fine. But it looks like there will be no cloud saves, and the reason for this is because they want to avoid exploits and time travel basically in the game. So of course you can back up your save, you can put it on the cloud, and then you play for a bit and you say, wait a minute, no, I don't like this. And then I guess to them you'll go back. You'll grab that cloud save back off and you'll go back in time, essentially. Or they were probably thinking you could technically go to someone else's island, give them an item, and then cut the power to your Switch, go back, grab the cloud save that had that item, and then boom, you're back in business with that same item. But here's my thought about this. Who really cares? Here's the thing. Animal Crossing is not a competitive, serious style game where you're competing against all these people. Generally, if you go to their island, you're probably going to mess stuff up, right? Like, that's usually what ends up happening. At least for me, it was anyway. But I don't see this as a hyper-competitive game like a Splatoon 2, for example. They have these issues with Splatoon 2 and cloud saving as well. But there's still a lot of cheating in there anyway, so not much has really been prevented there just because of cloud saves. But here's what I look at here. Is it worth not having your 4 to 5 year old, okay, 4 to 5 year old guys, world backed up to the cloud because someone else might duplicate an item or go back in time in their own game? I don't think it is. I don't. I think you pay for the service. There's a game that could very much benefit from cloud saves when it comes to saving your world, because let's face it, Animal Crossing New Horizons, I haven't played one really since the GameCube version, but I looked at that and I said, wow, that's a quality looking game. There's a lot to that, and it looks like there's a lot more in terms of progression, building up from a tent all the way to a big town and everything. I feel like I would want, after getting past all of that, it's going to be hundreds of hours most likely, to back it up to a USB stick. Okay, no, I can't do that, but to the cloud, yes, fine. I'll put it in the cloud. But you can't, and that is a problem. So I do hope they revisit this, and I hope they look at it. Now, of course, the studios around this and Splatoon seems to keep popping up for them. Splatoon 2, no cloud saves. Animal Crossing, no cloud saves. So I think, yes, give cloud saves to Animal Crossing. I think most of us will live. We won't be like, oh, that person that person's island's way cooler than mine. You might not even go there. So that's kind of the way I see it. I don't think it's worth disabling them so that you can't back your stuff up. I think, you know what? If the people want to time travel, let them time travel. We did it all the time back in the day anyway. But we still played the game and liked it, so let us back the stuff up. Next up, let's talk about that Lego Star Wars game that was shown at E3. Now, if you remember we saw it, I wasn't really sure what it was. I thought it was just a compilation of everything. It's pretty much the Skywalker saga, so it seems to go through all the episodes, even up to episode 9, by the way, that apparently the development team doesn't know anything about yet. At least they say they don't. We'll see about that one. But apparently that's going to be in it, but they seem to have made a lot of changes, and the Lego games seem to be evolving a bit here. I thought it was just another throwaway Lego game, and people who like Lego games now will probably get into it, and it'll be kind of that mindless Lego fun. It seems like they've made some changes here, though. It's fully open world, according to them, and it does have 18 million bricks, and they even changed the camera angle to where it's more like a Gears of War or a God of War style look from like behind, like a third person view from behind the player, and you can rotate the camera around. And this actually looks pretty good considering what we've dealt with previous LEGO games that have felt very samey. I heard about this and then I looked through it, and Kotaku had a pretty good article of someone who had hands-on with it and talked to developers, and it seems like they're putting more work into this LEGO game and making it different, taking some chances because, as they say, the player base that's grown up with LEGO has probably changed this time because they've been getting older, right? Like your fans are going to be getting older and they might want a bit more out of this LEGO game while still maintaining that charm. And then towards the end, they actually asked them about online multiplayer co-op, which is something that people have been kind of asking about here and there. And it seems like they didn't want to say no outright. So a bit of a tease there for online multiplayer. And honestly, I like the LEGO games the first or second time I played them, but again, I started realizing how similar they all were, and to hear that they would be changing up the formula has me a bit more interested, and of course it's Star Wars, and it's a Skywalker saga going up through Episode 9, so yeah, I'll probably check this one out just because of some of the changes that's been detailed. Next up, let's talk about Amazon, because if you didn't already know, they have a game studios division. A lot of people heard about this news, and the first thing they said was, wait, Amazon has they have game studios? Yeah, Amazon does. They do have their own Amazon Game Studios, and it appears that they've actually been laying people off now. This happened over E3, kind of got lost in the shuffle a bit, but it appears that Kotaku actually got the story and that dozens were actually laid off. And it seems like several unannounced projects have also been canceled at this time, which is a shame. Now, we do know that Amazon's working on, Crucible and New World, and I guess those are going okay. Nothing really big or massive that people talk about, and that's probably why you haven't really heard much about their game studios, but it's not a good look to them getting rid of people or restructuring to where they won't need as many people. Now, I will also say some of the terms that have been outlined are actually very favorable to people who are being laid off. They have 60 days to find a new job within Amazon, so they don't even have to necessarily go to a different company or anything, so they can keep any of the benefits or anything that they've built there. And then if they can't find a job within Amazon, they will get a full severance package to then, of course, they can go find a job elsewhere. So they're not just like they didn't just throw them out on the street right away. Very fair notice and benefits and everything from there. But the fact that they are shifting people from the game studio isn't a great outlook for them to be developing games. It actually makes me feel like they realize that maybe the game, just game studio in general, isn't great for Amazon, and it's not something they really want to focus on right now. So unfortunately, I was hoping some big games would come out of there, and it seems like that's not at least going to be happening this generation, and maybe not next generation, so we'll see. And our last bit of news, let's talk about Super Mario. Actually, let's talk about Super Mario Bros Battle Royale. I can't believe this is a thing, but it's actually really fun. And in fact, it's actually online multiplayer as well for Super Mario Bros. Something we hadn't really seen previously, at least until Mario Maker 2, but this is out now. So technically you beat that game out to market. And this is really, really cool. I do say you should go check it out and try it out because it's free, it works in your browser, and it's still kind of up. And the reason I say kinda is because whenever we talk about these things, every time this happens, Nintendo shows up with a cease and desist. So I hope it stays up long enough for you to go try it out, because you can pretty much click from this video and go try it out right now in a new tab. Seemingly not with Internet Explorer, probably like Chrome or Firefox or something like that, as they even say. This is actually really cool. This is from a YouTube video, as you're seeing here. This is from Inferno Plus, and they developed all of this in HTML5, so it all works in your browser. And the way this works is you can have up to 100 different players running through classic stages of Super Mario Bros. From the NES. And as you go through them, people will get power-ups, and there's only one power-up per, everybody's world, and you interact with each other indirectly. It's a really cool thing. I actually spent an hour playing it earlier today, or yesterday, and I couldn't get off of it. It was just really fun, and it actually shows that this could work. we could do a Mario Battle Royale and it would actually be really, really fun. So hopefully it's up long enough for you to try it out. I think you should. And he seems to actually be working on it, adding more worlds as he goes. So it's pretty cool. Basically, as you run through it, you get to the end of the world, you defeat Bowser, of course, by jumping over him or running under him and hitting the axe. And then the first player at the end wins. And then, of course, you can also technically kill each other with Koopa shells and all kinds of stuff. So really, really fun stuff. And you should definitely take a few minutes at least, check it out. And we'll finish up today with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Lewis saying, "Don't you dare say Daemon X Machina might not sell well. I'm all in and I love the game and that sweetheart director, since you could see how much this game means to him to make it perfect." So here's the reason I think it might get lost. It comes out in the same week, or it comes out very close to Gears of War 5. I think it's in the same week there. Comes out on the same day as Borderlands 3 from what I remember. And then you also have Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, FIFA 20, Ni no Kuni's later on. And then of course we also see Dragon Quest 11S. And of course the big one, we do also have Zelda Link's Awakening in that same month. I'm kind of looking at this saying, I think Daemon X Machina might get lost, but they also might not have massive expectations for the game. They might not be looking to sell millions and millions of copies. To them, to be honest, 1 million copies might be a massive success to them. So I hope that they at least hit their expectations, but I am concerned about initial sales with stuff around it. But we'll have to see if just its unique look and of course Armored Core fans are going to show up and be enough to kind of hold that game up with everything around it. And guys, gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, it really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about, whether it's Mario Battle Royale. How crazy is that? Now, it actually works really well, so hey, maybe we'll get an official one eventually, but definitely go check it out. But let me know what you think about that concept and any other games that could work in a Battle Royale format. I mean, we've had Tetris, right? So anything, I guess, is possible. And what do you think about Animal Crossing New Horizons not having cloud save? Do you think it makes more sense to just have cloud save and let people who want to cheat in their little single player game do it? Let me know about that one, guys, down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.